And Darren, one would imagine that the Prime Minister's waking up pretty chipper in Belfast, where you are this morning, but still a bit of work to do for him.
Yeah, chipper indeed in many regards. You look at the front pages of many of today's newspapers, and I don't think the Prime Minister at this stage could have asked for any better headlines. The Times saying Brexit breakthrough, the Daily Mail saying has Rishi done the impossible, in the Daily Telegraph saying it is arguably yesterday Rishi Sunak's best day yet as Prime Minister. Really quite extraordinary stuff in terms of those headlines, but you're also right in saying that the work is not yet done, and the reason I say that is because there are still massive concerns amongst unionists here in Northern Ireland, notably the DUP. We've been hearing from Sir Geoffrey Donaldson this morning, the leader of that party, in which he said that they're going to take their time, they're going to read through the legal text of this deal to see whether it's acceptable or not. They're actually taking legal advice on it. However, there is a bit of glimmer of good news. Geoffrey Donaldson saying that one of the key tests was this Stormont break, and on that he thinks at first reading it does seem to give Stormont the ability to potentially stop EU legislation if it so wishes. As you say, the Prime Minister is here in Belfast today meeting a whole range of business leaders, because primarily a lot of them have not been terribly happy with the protocol as it stood, that kind of border in the Irish Sea, which meant that lots of goods needed to be checked going from Great Britain into Northern Ireland. So as I say, the Prime Minister this morning will be pretty pleased, though he does still need to get the DUP on side, not least of all because there's no government here in Belfast. It's dormant, it's still not been restored, and one of the reasons that the Prime Minister was so keen on a deal is because he's very keen to see devolved government back here in Northern Ireland.
OK, thank you very much indeed. The beautiful backdrop of Belfast City Hall behind Darren there. It always reminds me, it's a bit like the White House. We don't see the dome there because of your big head in the way. But it's a beautiful building, isn't it?
It's a really beautiful building. It's the, I'd say, the stereotypical architecture of Victorian Belfast, built, well, I think at the very turn of the 20th century, and a sign that, you know, this place back in the day was a very wealthy place. Shipbuilding, linen. Belfast was a big city inside the UK. But you know what? That's why people want to get back, I think, Stormont back, Eamon. I don't know if you whether agree with this, to focus on things like the economy rather than the politics that Northern Ireland sometimes is used to.